Meghan Markle, has finally realised that in fact the only thing people are interested in with her is, well, the calamity that is her life. And this was none more so than when she released that now infamous video from the hospital. The video, the one I'm talking about, right, chums? She realised that that absolutely got more views, more interest, more traction, and of course created the buzz that she so loves. The adrenaline of people watching her, discussing her, all of that sort of stuff. The sort of thing that a malignant narcissist loves. Well, this was exactly what she enjoyed. Now, I can tell you this is happening behind the scenes, with or without Prince Harry. As ever, let me explain. Hi, good to see you. Thank you so much for joining me today. And as ever, welcome one and all. Nice to have your company. By the way, I know we often say this, but it was a funny thing. I saw loads and loads and loads of, sorry, I'm doing a wave. I saw loads and loads and loads of toffee apples reduced in the supermarket the other day. Even though Bonfire Night, we've still got a few to go over here. But it just got me thinking about what we were talking about recently, about how now, when you were younger, you just bit into them, didn't you? You didn't care, teeth fell out, whatever. Now you're thinking, can't get a dentist and you can't afford to have it fixed even if it fell out or pulled your filling out. Are you still a toffee apple lover, or are you with very caution now? Would you smash it first and have tiny little bits? I saw a kid with one the other day and I thought, wow, you're brave. He just bit into it. And I thought, oops, but when they're young, their teeth, obviously, it's second teeth, isn't it? So it's not too much of a worry. But do let me know, did you have a toffee apple? Would you risk it? And more importantly, do you miss them? Or were they a lot softer when they made them in the old days? Were they warm when you got them? Because obviously we're looking at shop bought ones with all the cellophane on, aren't we now? It's a little bit like shop worn, some people might say, about this particular royal story. Let me explain. Nice to see you. As I say, now Meghan Markle, as we know now, is returning to acting. Norma Desmond, get that big spotlight out. The diva has returned, playing herself, right? Now, the most successful thing that both Meghan and Harry have ever done as a couple together is their disastrous Netflix series where they sold his family down the pan. I mean, not much about her family at all, if anything, because Meghan has to keep everything under cloak and dagger. She doesn't really want you to know too much about how she operates, who she operates with, and why, the sort of thing. But of course, this made them a lot of money, and basically Netflix were hoping for more of the same. What they actually got was this dud series called With Love from Meghan. And if you remember at the start of the year, Meghan Markle sat down and did the video, do you remember? White blouse, heavy black eyeliner, cat's out of the bag. Then they asked if they want to go into business with me. Ooh, different change of scene now, sister, behind the scenes at Netflix, right? Nobody's asking to go into business with Meghan Markle simply because she can't sell anything. She even roped in, we forget these things, but Gwyneth Paltrow for a cameo to remind people that sisterhood was for everybody. We could all enjoy the delights of what Meghan was going to offer. Oh, really expensive candles, and of course sticking a couple of cinnamon sticks in a glass and basically saying it's something winter spice. The lackluster affair interest level of, activity that Meghan puts into this particular project is astounding, because clearly she knows it's not going to work. The jams have been a disaster. No celebrity now wants to promote her product. She's seemingly, cold turkey in Hollywood. But Meghan, as ever, has got a new plan. And some people might say the phrase of this is based on her on-off sort of relationship, one of the biggest reality people of the last, say, 10, 15 years, none other than the Kardashians. Although the wheels are coming off the Kardashian now sort of wagon, because Kim Kardashian's drama was an absolute turkey, didn't work. And I think, people are just bored of seeing very good-looking, if you like, rich people living better lives. It's sort of worn thing, because we know it's fake. Meghan now thinks she can replicate this. Now you might say, well, there's a problem. Now there is a problem, because that problem is her husband, Prince Harry. You see, Prince Harry doesn't want a life in the limelight. He loves the adulation of turning up at things and, sort of being with people and all that sort of stuff. He likes, doing a speech because that really doesn't mean anything. Words are empty, right? Get up, do a big speech. Oh, look at me, I've said this. Now you've got to applaud me, and he disappears off into a chauffeur-driven car alongside his wife Meghan, and then that's it. They go home 1 hour a week for charity. Meghan, though, is now looking at expanding that idea, as I say, with or without Harry. And the idea, which is in a very tentative stage, is to do a reality show based on her life. And this can be a little bit of everything, because their people, her people behind the scenes, have said, look at the interest that you're giving away for free on Instagram. The traction, say, of her turning up at the Paris fashion show, you're giving away all of those pictures. For instance, you're going to New York, you're going to the premiere of Gypsy, the people that you're meeting behind the scenes, that sort of stuff. Expand that into some kind of show. But TV bosses know that in this climate, the thing that really sells are dramatic effect. You know, the cliffhanger moment. What's the reason for tuning in for the next episode? What will happen? Now, of course, they want Prince Harry in this. And her biggest problem, in my opinion, for Meghan's disastrous With Love Meghan show on Netflix was she should have had him in the kitchen. A little bit like Fanny Craddock and Johnny. Remember those two? I've mentioned them before. But he could have been a disaster at cooking and she could have been the good organised one. But Meghan doesn't want to share the limelight. But in Harry's case, she has to, willing to, because nobody's interested in her. Now, according to a well-placed source, Meghan is, well, convinced that she can convince Harry that he could pop in and out of, you know, certain scenarios, whether it be giving her praise after coming back from a meeting or a launch or a Paris trip or whatever that might be. The idea was that he would be popping up in and out. So he is not unagreeable to this. He just doesn't want to be the weekly episode, if you like, of something like Dick York in Bewitched, you know. He doesn't want a central starring role. Why does Meghan want to do this? This is the only money on the table, right? Something like this is now the only option that this D-list former cable TV actress has now got. Nobody's interested in her jams. Nobody's interested in her charitable work. Nobody believes she's an entrepreneur. Look at the figures for Emma. Look at the figures for Fortune. It's been an utter, complete disaster. Has everything that Meghan has touched since her departure, from striking gold, marrying rich, and of course clawing away into the world of royalty. She knows that she could drop these little things, have the little ciphers of the notebook. All of this would grab attention and, she believes, ratings. And the bottom line truly is always, it's about money. Now, she's finally realised without doing this, there are no offers on the table. That's where we truly are right now. Neil Shawn, Kensington, London.